Welcome back. In 1941, Mikhail Kalashnikov was critically wounded during a fierce engagement in the town of Bryansk, just south of Moscow. This was his first encounter with the devastating power of the new German assault rifles. While 80,000 Soviet troops perished in that battle, Kalashnikov began a long recovery. While hospitalized, the future inventor obsessed over designing a superior weapon to halt the Nazi invasion. He envisioned a fully automatic rifle that was as lightweight as the German models. Inspired by the German STG-44, his goal was a design that was cheap to produce, easy to build, and reliable under the most grueling combat conditions. Whether in freezing tundras or humid jungles, the rifle had to perform. Kalashnikov sketched his initial concepts from his hospital bed, finalizing the first prototype in 1947. This was the birth of the Automat Kalashnikova, better known as the AK-47. It entered mass production for the Soviet Army 2 years later, just missing World War II. Soviet troops cherished their early AK-47s, treating them as a sacred promise of national security. Its true global impact, however, began to surface in 1956. The rifle saw its first major combat in Budapest, Hungary. 50,000 Hungarians died in that conflict, compared to only 7,000 Soviet soldiers. In our view, the AK-47's legendary status stems from its perfect marriage of lethality and low cost, a balance that few modern designs have ever replicated. To be honest, there is nothing revolutionary about its mechanical design. Its simplicity allows even nations with basic industrial setups to manufacture it, yet that very simplicity is its brilliance. With an oversized gas piston and chrome-lined barrel, the AK became a legend of reliability. It functions perfectly, whether you are in the sandy deserts of Sudan or the thick mud of Nicaragua. It almost never jams. If it does get dirty, a simple water rinse usually brings it back to life, even when rusted or frozen. The weapon continues to fire regardless of the environment. Kalashnikov even designed it to be used with thick winter gloves. As for its operation, you could teach a total stranger to master the rifle in just a few hours. It is equally straightforward when it comes to field stripping and general maintenance. We also cannot overlook its massive stopping power, utilizing the 7.62 by 39mm round. This tapered ammunition is what gives the magazine its iconic banana shape. The charging handle is on the right, alongside a safety lever that doubles as a fire selector. 1 click down for semi-auto, 2 for full-blown automatic fire. It is quick, efficient, and provides the shooter with a sense of raw, unstoppable power. Kalashnikov's background as a mechanic and tanker ensured the design was grounded in reality. He created a tool built for the chaos of the front lines. The AK-47's debut fundamentally altered military history, acting like a complex symphony of warfare. From the mountains of Korea to the jungles of Vietnam, the AK consistently proved its superiority over the M16, which we discussed in a previous video. It isn't just an effective firearm. For many resistance fighters, the AK-47 became a global symbol of the struggle for liberation and the fight against tyranny. Throughout the Cold War, it was branded the weapon of the proletariat. Moscow exported millions of units and various licenses to communist regimes around the globe. Beyond direct exports, the Soviets granted production rights to numerous allies, allowing the rifle to be manufactured locally across multiple continents. Virtually any nation could produce their own domestic variant. This proliferation was vividly seen during the Civil War in El Salvador in the 1980s. According to American historians, insurgent forces there initially used whatever they could find, but eventually standardized on various AK models found in the field. These rifles came from North Korea, East Germany, and Yugoslavia, with ammunition supplied by Cuba. This showcased the immense reach of the Soviet supply chain. Unfortunately, its low price and ease of replication have a darker legacy. The AK-47 has arguably changed humanity for the worse in many regions. It has become the go-to weapon for terrorist organizations across the planet. This has led to a deep divide among military enthusiasts regarding its legacy. Some label it a rifle of liberation, while others see it as a preferred tool for mass murder. We want to know your take on this in the comments. Regardless of your perspective, there is no denying that in the wrong hands, the AK-47 has made global counterterrorism efforts incredibly difficult. It is a tragic irony when a legal weapon quickly becomes an illegal one. Today, the AK and its clones dominate the world's illicit arms markets. Take China, for example. They export massive quantities to Africa. Once there, these weapons often leak out from official military stockpiles. Corrupt soldiers often sell them to local rebel groups. The Libyan civil war in particular acted as a massive funnel for these weapons to spread across the region. Most people don't know that many weapons used in major European attacks were sourced from the Balkans. With 1 million new units produced annually, millions more remain in circulation. Huge stockpiles from the 1980s are still operational in North Africa and the Balkans. Following the 1997 unrest in Albania, roughly 750,000 AKs vanished into the black market. Middlemen often refurbish these old rifles before selling them to gangs and extremists. Their durability makes them highly prized. Estimates suggest there are 900,000 illegal guns in Syria and 750,000 in Bosnia, many kept after the wars. These are often hidden for years before being sold on the black market for about 100 euros. During the Soviet-Afghan War in the 1980s, the Mujahideen initially fought with antique British rifles, while the pro-Russian government was fully equipped with modern AK-47s. Thousands of these Warsaw Pact rifles were left behind in Afghanistan, eventually allowing the Taliban to become the formidable force they are today. The rifle is now even produced in semi-autonomous tribal regions and remains a staple for various African tribes. Its fame goes far beyond simple sales numbers. The AK's reputation in global conflicts and insurgencies has burned its image into the collective human consciousness as a permanent icon of combat. It became the definitive symbol of armed struggle. During the Vietnam War and through the 1980s, it appeared on propaganda posters from cities to remote villages. In film and theater, the AK-47 is by far the most commonly used prop. Several African nations have even incorporated its image into their national flags. They view it as a symbol of the uprising of the poor. Mozambique was the first to start this trend back in 1983. Their national emblem features a bayonet-equipped AK-47, honoring their long and bloody struggle for independence from Portuguese colonial rule. It adorns the national seals of Zimbabwe and East Timor, graced Burkina Faso's emblem from 1984 to 97, and features prominently on Hezbollah's flag and Iran's Revolutionary Guard insignia. Surprisingly, Westerners, particularly Americans, view the AK-47 as a weapon of the axis of evil, a perception rooted in its Soviet origins. This reputation solidified during the Korean and Vietnam Wars, before the Soviets became the dominant global arms supplier throughout the 1980s. They served as the lifeline for nations facing United States embargoes, arming Middle Eastern powers like Syria, Libya, and Iran in their opposition to American-backed Israel. Post-Soviet collapse, the AK flooded the black market, ending up in the hands of brutal regimes, drug cartels, and organized crime syndicates worldwide. Today, it is the weapon of choice for radicals like the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and Colombian rebels, cementing its status as an icon of insurgency. This legendary rifle is synonymous with Osama bin Laden's propaganda and remains Hollywood's default choice for portraying cinema's most dangerous villains and terrorists. Mexicans call it the goat's horn, where it has become a grim symbol of the drug trade, even immortalized in popular narco ballads. In 2006, Colombian activist Cesar Lopez flipped the script by creating the Escopetara, a guitar made from a rifle that sold for $17,000. While one unit raised funds for victims, another sits at the United Nations. Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, the rifle's silhouette is a staple in women's traditional embroidery. Popular Mechanics lists it as one of the 11 most pivotal weapons in history, but its true impact is felt by the soldiers who carried it. Mikhail Kalashnikov has passed, yet his invention remains a soldier's faithful companion, a mechanical extension of their will throughout countless conflicts. This legendary design lives on as a symbol of relentless struggle for those chasing the dreams of liberty, independence, and national peace. That is all for today. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell for our latest insights. Until next time.